Hello, everyone. Hold on. Is that Drake? Welcome into Wagers on Campus, your college football show, baby. We're talking Big 12 and ACC today, college football preview. Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. This is Mayor, and I am here with Drake Lover, Xander Burns.
Whoa. Hello.
Hey, Lover boy. How you doing?
Great. Happy to be here.
Look at us, both wearing Nashville hats today.
What's your say?
I had some V for Vanderbilt.
Okay. I'm shocked you weren't wearing like a Houston Texans shirt today or something.
Yeah, I forgot that one in the closet after last week's ridiculing. It hurt my feelings and just decided to go with a plain t-shirt today. So, what can you do? How's it going, man? You ready to talk some ball?
Yes. I'm very excited. We're into the power stages and uh just a lot of moving and shaking before we gear up for the final week of preparation.
Yep. As we record this here on Tuesday, we're about 11 days away from opening day of college football. So today we're going to be moving right along with our preseason coverage, and we have entered Power 4 territory. So we're going to cover standout teams and players in each of the conferences. Like I mentioned earlier, today is the Big 12 and the ACC. So we're going to talk about that. And if you haven't already, please go to that YouTube page at Axe Sports HQ. Be sure to like and subscribe. Thank you very much. Help a couple of Joes make their names in the college football landscape and live vicariously through us. Well said, Burns.
Thanks.
So as we jump into the show today, we'll start with news and notes. What do you have for us on today's episode?
Well, obviously, because there's nothing going on, all everyone could talk about was Monday's release of the AP poll. Who gives a shit? Am I right?
Your favorite time of the year. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Let's go. This is you live to shine. Let's go.
Yep. You'll find me in many mentions of anyone that claims to be the preseason guru. And Josh Pate just came for my guy, Scott Van Pelt. And this is war. This is a territory war. It's now my only goal to be successful in Nashville at college football, to take on that cartoon attire wearing, bald headed, just ass clown.
You're you're talking about SVP?
No, I guess they're both bald headed. Yeah. No, but only one wears the same outfit every single fucking day. The white T-shirt. That's Pate. I totally forgot bald on bald crime there.
Yeah. I thought you liked Pate.
No, he's a SEC homer annoying guy that's getting a little too big for his britches.
Okay. All right. Yeah, you've been pretty active on the X atmosphere this week. You've definitely been letting your opinion be known. For all of the listeners there, Xander runs the Twitter account.
Yep. You can hide behind that, but I've taken us viral a few times these past 2 weeks, so and we just got certifiably verified, whatever the hell that means. Officially verified, not paying for it anymore, just full on verified. So maybe we're going to start getting a little kickback on some of these viral posts.
Wow, that's cool. Yeah, you had the LeBron one the other day. It was nice. So I got to ask you though, not a fan? What's going on? I mean, the album's not bad.
What, Pat McAfee?
Yeah.
Oh my god. I can't even figure out if this is the worst publicity stunt of all time, or like if he's just going through a massive midlife crisis, because money. There is no hiding from the midlife crisis, no matter how much you have in your bank account. So, I mean, if it is serious, it's embarrassment, to be honest, that you've got people paid to come on and say, like, we should have you perform on College Game Day. Dan Orlovsky's quote tweeting him like he's putting up a Facebook post in fucking 2006. Some of his lyrics. If that trash hits College Game Day, I'm officially out on them. I'll retire my talents with Lee. I'll have great memories of Corso and be a full on Big Noon kickoff guy.
Is it just because Urban is over at Big Noon?
I mean, that could help. They also have some handsome fellas over there. Leinart, Quinn,
Mark Ingram.
Ingram. He's more of a bowling ball type, maybe more of your type, kind of stout guy. I'm more of the handsome man type of guy.
Wow. What a take on McAfee. I thought the album was good. Legit.
No, you're kidding me.
I'm absolutely not.
Oh my God.
I was
this has got to be the biggest bit of all time.
I was impressed. I've listened to it multiple times and enjoyed it.
Oh man. This honestly makes me look at you in a different light.
Do you think that's a reflection on my poor taste in music?
I mean, yes, that's 100%. I can no longer trust anything you have to say about a music opinion.
I hope it's played on College Game Day all season long. Yeah.
They're just keeping it in-house. He's their personal Imagine Dragons.
What's the Imagine Dragons reference?
Well, like it was between them and Fall Out Boy would be the like lead-in song, like for an entire football season.
Yeah. I mean, sure. I mean, he's kind of the face of ESPN, it seems like. But wow, you really didn't like it. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. Truly, really did.
I hope you can pick up the album, man. That'll be a great little fixture for your wall, something to decorate the house with.
Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. It surprised the shit out of me. I didn't know he was coming out with an album until the day that it was released, or maybe the day that Orlovsky was, tweeting and all that, which I did find to be a little much. I will admit. I thought his tweets were a little like suck uppy-ish. It kind of felt like, but nonetheless, that's my take on it.
If that was my boy that did that, I would be frying his ass. Not publicly, but definitely directly.
Because the music is not good in your opinion.
Correct. By most standards of musical opinion, yes.
Okay. All right. I'm glad we got to talk about that. So back to the AP Top 25, the graphic that we're looking at right now. So this is the pool from last year in the last week of the season.
No, this is Monday.
Oh, this is Monday. It says release November 16th, 2025.
Oh, yeah. AP fucked that up.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, this is wrong. What the hell? That's like 2 years ago. Why was that like one of the first fucking search things?
I don't know.
Well, you can talk about it. I'll pull up the new graphic.
Well, what can you say? Ohio State Buckeyes, they're ranked number 1. That big game against Texas in week 2. It's your current 1 versus 5 matchup. Xander thinks that 2 very highly rated teams currently, that being Notre Dame and Miami, will both be unranked when they play each other later in the season. Unless you were just trying to get the people going. I'm not sure.
I think that's what we call a rage bait.
Mm-hmm. I mean, when I'm looking at the top 10, I will say all of it looks pretty normal to me. I guess I'm a little surprised Oregon is number 2, and I'm a little surprised that Texas A&M is number 8. But everything else looks about right.
Yeah, some other things that stirred up some controversy this week. It's just a fact that 22 of the last, I believe, 24 years. One team in the preseason top 25 has finished unranked that was in the top 10 to start the season. Do you have any thoughts on what that team would be? Because I have a power rankings of who I thought that should be.
You're saying a team that starts the season unranked finishes top 10?
Reverse.
A team that's top 10 finishes unranked?
Yes.
Um, if I had to pick one on this list, it would be A&M. A&M would be my first pick. Yeah.
I think that's fair. They were number 3 for me. I had Ole Miss, Miami as 1 and 2, just probability wise. Then Indiana, Oklahoma, Georgia, Notre Dame, Texas, Oregon, Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
I think probability of being unranked in that order. I just think those bottom teams, they could lose 4 games and still be ranked if we're just doing it by the probability of being unranked and not actually what you think the team's record will be. But I don't think Ole Miss has much leeway. I mean, if we look at this with Missouri getting in there, 9 SEC teams are crammed into the top 25.
Mm-hmm.
So when we start getting into SEC scheduling, there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking with all the wins and losses handed back and forth. There's only 3 ACC teams and 4 Big 12 teams. I think there's some talent stacked in there. You have 19 teams in your conference. You only have 3 represented, top 25. You have to think there's some wiggle room for some teams to make a little noise because of, like we saw last year, how many big games seemingly we avoid. So, Big Ten got 8 in there. Not like they're any better. I think definitely squeezed in Iowa there, Penn State,
Washington,
Michigan.
Yeah.
So, who gives a shit, though? Really doesn't mean anything. It's truly a detriment to the game, to be honest. You've already got people bitching that we only have one ranked matchup in week 1 when we have incredible games to look at from a non quote unquote ranked perspective. You got Liberty, JMU, Auburn, Baylor, Oregon, Boise State, Clemson, LSU, UCLA, Cal, UNLV, Hawaii, Notre Dame, Wisconsin, and we get the fucking Apple Cup week 1. Goddamn Washington, Wazoo. We get a full ass rivalry game week 1. So save me with that ranking bull crap. I just think it's a detriment more or less than it is a benefit. Like I've always said, I would love to be able to somehow measure a study if week 2 it was no numbers next to Ohio State and Texas, if there would be a single less viewer than if it was 1 versus 5 on ABC.
Yeah, I don't think it would get too many less viewers if they just eliminated the rankings completely. If they were just saying, hey, we're just going to be done with this, I think you would be fine.
I just want them pushed back to like week 6, week 5.
Hey, we talked about this last year. I'm all for that.
Yeah.
I see where you're coming from. You know, let's let the guys play. Let's see it be decided on the field, and then we can come up with some rankings. Fair?
Well, yeah, and the only thing we didn't touch on that I've just been harping on is that it affects the TV schedule and the national exposure to some of these other teams that we think are better than what they're currently not ranked. And instead, they're getting pushed down to ESPN Plus and the CW and like shit like that. When if we're just unranked and letting the actual football minds decide the football schedule of what people need to see good ball and not a 28-point spread, I think we'd be in a little bit better spot to start off the year for an excitement level.
Yeah. All right. Well, AP top 25. Who cares? Who cares? Who cares? Ohio State. Who cares? Senior day moved for the Buckeyes. Who cares?
Yep. Yeah, senior day moved for Ohio State. So Let me get your thoughts on this. Obviously, I'm going to have an opinion. How about an outsider's perspective?
Who cares? Okay.
Is that your actual opinion?
No.
Oh, I was waiting. I asked you, what's your outsider's opinion?
On senior day being moved?
Yeah, because it will be a distraction to the Michigan game final season or final week of the season.
So senior day was originally planned the week before the Michigan game?
Well, it's been the last home game every single year forever.
Okay, so sometimes it actually is the Michigan game.
Yeah. Every
Got
other year, it's the Michigan game.
Gotcha. Okay. Didn't realize that that's what they did. Ohio State finally beat them last year, right?
Yes, Alex.
Yeah.
11 days away. You got to blow that rust off. You pause.
So I don't think it really makes a difference. Truly, I think it's just they have Ryan Day's a good coach. They have a very good program over there. I don't see that being a distraction. But then again, Ryan Day, he's the guy running the program, and he's the one that's in it day in and day out. So maybe there is a benefit.
But the loud talking heads are saying that it's cowardice and that nothing should affect tradition or anything like that.
I mean, I don't exactly agree with that. Like tradition for what? Traditions change all the time.
Agreed.
You know?
Yeah. So my thoughts on it are pretty simple. I've got a few bullet points I wanted to discuss. I mean, it makes total sense from a excitement standpoint, from an actual play standpoint. I mean, you got 100 people on the team. There's a lot of seniors that'll never see play. They moved it to opening week of Ball State, where seniors are actually going to be able to play. Their families are going to be able to get excited. You can dedicate the season to the seniors now. That kicks off with a bang. It's an incredible rallying point for the entire team to see these leaders get in front, be honored to kick off your season. And then the cherry on top of it, Alex, how about a nice weather day for fuck's sake, and not in the miserable late November when you have to get your families out there? You don't want your mother just bone chilling cold. How about a nice warm September or August day to bring out the family? No accessories needed, and just enjoy a beautiful day honoring your sons.
I like it. And Ohio State, Michigan, that game is so stressful. That game is so stressful for everyone involved. So to add senior day as an extra wrinkle there, I could see why Day said, let's move this thing.
Yep.
Yeah. Go Buckeyes.
Okay. Let's pump the brakes, buddy.
So now we're getting into the Big 12 and then the ACC. But first, looks like you put together a little segment called This or That.
That's right. Back again, this or that, for another week of hot debate. Just for a little segment to pop up and spark your brain as you're listening to this driving into work. So put together a few. Some are over under, some are this or that. There's two options on each. Kicks off because this has been a big change and it's shown its ugly head quite a bit. So this or that, divisions or one big group, one big conference?
Like just in terms of what I prefer?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I had another question. I would say divisions. Give me divisions.
Any particular reason?
No, I just like the format of divisions.
See, I would agree. I would like one caveat because as we saw and why they got rid of divisions really, The Big Ten was always just a fucking mollywhopping in Indianapolis
Right.
because one division was just so much superior than the other. Um, so I would like to see bring back the divisions and give me a potential reorg every 2 years. So you're guaranteed a home and home,
Mm-hmm.
and then let's reassess after 2 years. If it starts getting lopsided, we can just switch a couple teams over. Same conference. I mean, same familiarity
Yeah.
that you're going to see, but at least you'll be able to get a little bit more fluidity, and fan bases can kind of know what to expect, especially if we just get 20 team leagues, everyone plays 9 conference games, boom.
I agree with that. It's like it doesn't have to be so black and white where, you have one lopsided division and then one really good division. I feel like you can make tweaks, you can make adjustments while still being able to keep divisions in the sport.
Exactly. All right, we're in agreement on that one. All right, the next one, a little goofy one for you here. Since we're covering the ACC, which represents Palo Alto, California,
Mm-hmm.
all the way over to Greenville, North Carolina, stretches as far as the eye can see, all the way to Miami, Florida, actually.
Wow.
So it covers the entire country of this US of A.
Yep.
So it's basically a West and East Coast. Do you prefer tacos or oysters?
Love this question. I want to say oysters. I think oysters is the cool answer, but it's absolutely tacos for me.
Yeah, that's fair. But you're only thinking like the consumable from the shell. Oysters can also come out hot, folks. Oysters Rockefeller. I mean, we're not just talking just down the hatch here. Multiple ways. Give me oysters. I've got a list in my phone with my significant other, and we write down the oysters and where they're from on the ones we really like because we try multiple different regions anytime we're able to get to an oyster serving restaurant. So I don't have a taco list of what tacos I like. So that's why I'm going oysters.
I got a really good spot for you that I've probably mentioned to you a couple times. It's not too far from you. It's on Lebanon Pike, next to the Shell gas station. It's like connected to the Shell gas station, and it's an authentic Mexican taqueria, and it is just phenomenal.
Taqueria. Okay, that's good. I thought for a second you were going to give me gas station oysters and some sort of sick prank, but I'm glad that pivoted away to your side.
Colorado oysters, anyone?
Yeah. Yeah. This is a PG show, Alex.
That's right. My bad.
Over under, since we're talking about them, number of playoff teams for the Big 12, 1.5.
Oof. Oh boy. Well, I'm looking at the teams here. Could be Texas Tech, of course. Could be BYU. Could be a surprise. But I'm gonna go under. I'm gonna go under 1.5. I'm gonna say one team.
Okay. I'm going to go over. Talk about a couple teams that I like. I think the schedules kind of work the ways and the benefits of a couple teams. And BYU could really shake up some things with who they have on their schedule on for the rest of the national landscape. So I like over for the Big 12. Same question, but the ACC, 1.5 ACC teams.
Well, I like Miami. So I could, me personally, I could kind of somewhat comfortably pencil them in. So then it's just a matter of, are we getting one other team from this conference to make the playoffs? No, we're not. So I'm gonna go under.
Wow, both only get their one guaranteed spot, and Mr. Big Ten and SEC just wants to pollute the playoffs again.
And Notre Dame.
Okay. Actually, I'll also go under here. I like a lot of teams in the ACC. I just think there's going to be a lot of cannibalism on to really hurt some at-large resumes.
Yep.
2 new coaches coming in talk about them in the Big 12. Who's going to have the better season? And I'll have the from win totals perspective. They don't really have to necessarily just beat the other one because there's different expectations. But Colin Klein going home. He's now the head coach at Kansas State. And then Morgan Scalley taking over Kyle Whittingham, homegrown guy. He's been on Utah's staff for a long time. So 2 new faces in that landscape. Who do we like?
Yeah, it's a good question. I mean, like you said, Morgan Scalley has been with Utah for 18 years. He spent the last 10 years as their defensive coordinator, so he has a lot of familiarity with the program. Kansas State, like you mentioned, Colin Klein, it's his first season as head coach. He was an assistant with K-State, and then last year he was just with Texas A&M. He gets Avery Johnson back. They get Joe Jackson back. They're good star running back. I kind of think Kansas State is ready for a little bit of a bounce back year. So I'm going to go with Klein and Kansas State.
Yeah. Looks like their win total is 7.5 and Utah's is 8.5. So right around similar. I like Kansas State as well. I think both these guys are poised to overproduce. At the end of the day, I think Utah, once we talk about their schedule, you're going to be like, wow, how did they land that? I think Morgan is going to have enough to get them over the hump. Potentially be the one of 2 teams that I like for the Big 12 representation.
Definitely. I mean, I could see it. Utah's been so good for such a long time.
And then last one, since we're talking about them, which one do you favor? Big 12 or ACC? As in like viewing or overall teams that you like to follow?
Good question. I think I would go with the Big 12. I think I'm going to go with the Big 12. The ACC can certainly be fun, especially when Clemson is good and Florida State is interesting, and throwing some other teams like a Pitt or an SMU or Syracuse even when they're playing well. But excuse me, I think the Big 12 is the better conference. And I think they have just as much, honestly, probably more intrigue across the board with the teams in the league. So give me the Big 12 officially. Final answer.
All right. And I'll go ACC. Pac-12 was always my 5th ranked when it came to Power 5 on interest. And, obviously there's a footprint of Pac-12 still remnant in the Big 10 or Big 12. And then I just love those Florida teams, man. Miami, Florida State, UCF. Like, it gets interesting down there. Always some pandemonium, always some drama. So I'll take the ACC.
I will say there is something to having games being played in your region. Obviously, me being in Florida, there is maybe a little bit more intrigue for some of those ACC games just because they're on the East Coast. Simple as that.
Yeah, definitely. That concludes another This or That for the week.
Nice.
A lot of brain busters there.
You can roll with this or you can get with that.
So why don't we jump into the conferences since we're teasing them so much?
Yes, let's do it. So we are going to get into the Big 12. That's right. The first Power 4 conference that we're diving into. The Big 12, we're going to start with the favorites to win the conference. And Xander, we have a pretty overwhelming favorite at plus 100. Texas Tech, even without quarterback Brendan Sorsby, the #1 ranked player in the transfer portal, they're still favored to win this conference by a pretty considerable margin, I would say, followed by BYU at plus 550 and Utah at plus 650. Thoughts?
Yeah. Hammond was serviceable when he came in last year. Obviously, Dylan Raiola is just absolutely punching air right now of what could have been the legacy that he could have created in his footsteps with he would have been next in line if he would have transferred there. But this team is so stacked on defense, and they reload and then they add. They add maybe the MAC Defensive Player of the Year last year, uh, best Player of the Year, I should say, um, on the defensive side, outside of Emmanuel McNeil Warren, but he was a defensive lineman, and Adam Trick. And then they add a rival, which has me conflicted on how I feel about this. But Austin Romine comes over. He'll be a senior leader, and he's a leader on that Kansas State defense in the interior or on the linebacking side. So they just add there. Of course, they return running backs. Cameron Dickey's back, and they're just a well-coached team that is investing the most amount of money in the Big 12. So it is paying off year in and year out.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a team that made the college football playoff last year. They were dominant in conference play. They handled BYU 2 times. They won the Big 12, lost in the playoff to Oregon. You already mentioned it. They have one of the top rushing trios in the country. All 3 running backs from last season return. Their tight end, Terrence Carter Jr., he's a projected All-American at that position. They return 3 all Big 12 players on defense this upcoming season. And they, like you mentioned with Adam Trick, they landed 3 of the best defensive line transfers this season. So, yeah, they definitely look stacked again on defense. Big question, of course, is how's the offensive line going to look and how is Will Hammond going to play? And can the defense be as dominant this year as they were last year? I would say probably not quite to that level, but I'm sure they'll still be very good.
Wow, Hammond. I didn't hear any news out of Kansas City this week. Hammond's wearing 15 at Texas Tech. You think that will be a problem?
No, not after this last week.
Yeah. We're going to be sure to preview 6 guys instead of 5 out of respect for Jaden Daniels today when we highlight some of the top players.
There it is. Get in on the fun.
Telling jokes or having fun.
Yeah. Do you want to talk about these next 2 teams, BYU and Utah?
Yeah, BYU returns Offensive Player of the Year for the conference in LJ Martin. They're projected, obviously, second favorite by Vegas, but they are heavily reloaded in all aspects with a ton of overperforming underclassmen last year. Kalani Sitake might have his best team ever. Martin led the league in rushing with 1,300 yards, 230 carries. So would like to see him stay healthy because he popped in 12 tutties. And then we had Bachmeier, obviously coming back, was not slated to start as a recruit and just kind of dominated just any camps leading up and just hit the scene like hotcakes. Biggest problem was those 2 games versus Texas Tech, and clearly their strongest opponents when it came to any sort of defensive challenge. And he was 1-3 in 2 games on touchdown to interception ratios. And then he averaged about 150 yards passing. Wasn't hurt in either game. That's complete game log there. So very, very tough outings there. You have to think a full off season. They're going to be able to use him in a bigger capacity. I'd like to see him uptick on the completion percentage, and then I would like to see him scramble a little bit more, tailed off there during the end of the season. But I really see this BYU team competing. And on top of a tough Big 12 schedule, they get Notre Dame coming to Mormon Land. And that'll be one of the bigger games of the season. And that could definitely shake up the college football landscape with what they can do there.
Wow, really? That's this year? Notre Dame at BYU?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, there it is, October 17th. Crazy. Yeah, BYU, man, how can you not be impressed? I mean, back-to-back top 15 rankings in the final AP poll. You already mentioned Bachmeyer and LJ Martin. It's just a matter of, can they reload well enough? Just like all these schools, they really had a push to keep their head coach, Kalani Sitake. Remember, Penn State was making a big push to grab him. So, BYU, a lot of money into that program, shown on the basketball side as well. Just look at AJ Diabanza and high expectations. Their former defensive coordinator, Jay Hill, he left for Michigan. So they do have a new DC, which will be something to watch. But BYU, very impressive program. Let's see if they can make it 3 consecutive seasons of finishing in the top 15.
Yeah. I think I don't know. You'll see soon here. I've got a reveal of I played out the season in the win-loss rankings, and I'll show you how that turned out after we kind of get through this.
Okay. And final team, Utah, is the third favorite to win this conference. You already mentioned their head coach, Morgan Scalley, first year with the program. Tell us a little bit about the Utes.
Yeah, returning Devin Dampier, obviously a hell of a talent, an incredible splits last year with 25 TDs to 5 interceptions. Ooh. They had a couple off games that, and then once again, that vaunted Texas Tech defense, some of these guys just don't play enough talent, and then that kind of defense comes in and hits you right in the mouth. 0 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. What worries me a little bit about Dampier is that already through 3 seasons, he's got 360 carries as a quarterback. So worried a little bit about durability. Want to make sure that he's clearly healthy. He even carried the ball 19 times in their bowl last year against Nebraska.
Yeah,
150 yards, 3 tutties. But yeah, he's got 33 touchdowns on the ground in his career. I mean, he is definitely a legitimate dual threat, one of the best dual threats in the entire country. They have one of the best defensive backfields. They're returning an incredible amount of talent when it comes to the linebacker position.
Mm-hmm.
So, and defensive line. So it really just comes down to playmakers on the outside. What can they get out of that? Keeping Dampier healthy, and then just this top cream of the crop. They play obviously the Holy War, BYU. They will play Texas Tech on. When do they play Texas Tech?
The Utes. They play Texas Tech on.
They don't play them.
They don't play them.
So they avoid Texas Tech. So that's a good sign. And like I mentioned, I teased, if we look at their schedule, I teased that a little bit there. Look who they have on the road. They've got Iowa State, Colorado, Cincinnati, Arizona, and TCU. And then they avoid other big dogs. Their non-conference is Idaho, Arkansas, and Utah State, all at home. Arkansas is projected to have one of their worst seasons in SEC history. So tell me how this team doesn't win 11 games and then toss up BYU.
Right. I mean, it doesn't happen if they're not as good as we think they could be. But you're right. The schedule lines up favorably for them for sure. Kevin McGiven, Utah State, he comes in as their new offensive coordinator. Utah State scored 31 points a game last season. So it'll be interesting to see what he does with Dampier, as well as running back Wayshawn Parker, who ran for almost 1,000 yards and 6 touchdowns last season. I believe they also still have Bird Ficklin, their backup quarterback, who ran for 10 touchdowns on the ground last year. He can be like an electric.
The Birdman.
Yeah, exactly. He can be like a nice change of pace guy. Well, I guess they're both running quarterbacks, but Ficklin's even faster. But I agree with you, Burns. I mean, Utah, you look at the schedule. If they're good, they might lose one game.
Yeah. Yep, and they've lost 3 in a row to BYU, so a little bit of extra fire under the ass there. That hasn't happened since 1989. So it'll be interesting season for the Utes. This is a team that is not being talked about by anyone really in the national landscape.
Yep. Who are your fades in this conference?
Arizona is going to fall under the fade category, 18-1. We've talked pretty highly about Fafita, but outside of Fafita, he's going to have a hard time finding help to get across the finish line. Especially with a lackluster middle of the defense as well. And then they also fall under the category of were plus 13 in turnover differential last year. That's great for them. 9-4, good season. But as history's shown us over the past 25 years or so, maybe more, teams coming off a plus double-digit turnover margin have an 83% chance to take a step back or same record the next season.
Yeah, for sure. They were the best team in the country in passing defense efficiency. They had 31 takeaways last year. I think it's safe to say we're gonna see some significant regression.
Yeah, big time.
Anybody else that you're selling?
Not really, just because the bottom is just so obvious that
Yeah.
That's just kind of the stay away fade that I have for who you might be eyeing up top.
Okay. I'll give you one as well then that maybe, has decent expectations, but I'll give you a fade on how about TCU?
Yeah.
How about a fade on TCU? If they're trying to start a Harvard transfer at quarterback, and listen, there's only one Ryan Fitzpatrick on this show.
That's right.
Jaden Craig, school's all-time leader in passing yards and touchdowns. He's also a dual threat guy, so I'm sure he's a pretty good quarterback. And I had a chance to visit Harvard's football stadium when I visited Boston last month, and looks like a coliseum. Did you know that?
Yes.
Pretty cool stadium.
It's incredible.
But yeah, TCU. Josh Hoover should have never let him leave the state of Texas.
Agreed.
What do we got next in terms of sleepers? Yeah, let's talk about some sleepers.
Yeah. We highlighted one. I really like Kansas State to potentially win a Big 12 championship here.
Mm-hmm.
I know it's going to be, we should note that Texas Tech is definitely a heavy favorite for a reason. So these sleepers, you're seeing Kansas State at 25-1. And it's like, well, how could I not take them? But they are lacking in some areas that Texas Tech does bring to the table. So Kansas State, though, love the Colin Klein move, bring him back. I think he's going to be an incredible mentor and head coach for Avery Johnson. This is a guy that has had playing time all 4 years now. And when we look at Avery Johnson, we look at what if. Obviously, he took a little bit of a step back last year in production. But overall, I mean, he played in all the games. He took a step back in rushing, lost a full yard per carry, which is not what you want to see out of a running quarterback. Want to see him take a lot less hits. And I just want to see him be accurate with the ball and set up an offense that can help him succeed because he's below that 60% mark. And with Klein coming in, I'm really optimistic about what Kansas State can do. Kansas State's also going to have a solid supporting cast where they're going to be able to succeed when it comes to the running game. So maybe just kind of a RPO full style offense under Klein, which has shown success in the past. And then defense and special teams are going to have to step up. Question marks around the back end on the defensive backside. That's why they're 25-1. I mean, going to need some new guys to step up at the end of the day. And their schedule shapes up to be another positive schedule in how they can attack a potential long shot.
And you like Baylor as well, just to throw a dart?
Yeah, this is definitely a dart throw with Aranda, with Lagway. It's more or less this is completely trusting a quarterback to score 45 points a game, and that's really all you can hope for in this 43-1 landscape. And then I should have wrote this down as well. I really like UCF. You forget that they're in the Big 12. I really like UCF. I really like Scott Frost's chances at a second year pop. If you look at their schedule, let me get this out for you here. Bethune-Cookman at Pitt, tough. But Georgia State, TCU, talked about down. Houston, Oklahoma State, bye week, home for BYU. And they have, to close out the year, one of the easier closeouts with Kansas, Arizona State, Iowa State, Colorado. So UCF, when we talk about potential pops in a season, getting Alonzo Barnett, hot off a playoff appearance and a great showing, coming from JMU, is also check that box of things that we love to see. 23-year-old quarterbacks in college. Man among boys at the quarterback position is what I like to see when I'm backing a long shot team. And so why I highlighted them, what I'm putting out there, Alex, you tell me if you're picking it up, to make the Big 12 championship 28-1.
Okay.
Just to make it.
Very cute.
Please don't ever call any of my bets cute again, or we will be throwing down to a Pat McAfee background song.
Yeah, man, this conference feels like Texas Tech's, right? And
yes,
definitely top heavy for sure. But at the same time, man, there are some nice prices, even for the teams at the very bottom, to be honest with you. Like Iowa State, 100-1 to win the conference. Colorado, impressive transfer portal. I mean, Dion literally just had Travis Hunter and Shador Sanders just a couple of years ago, knocking on the doorstep of 10 wins.
Man.
Hell, they might have gotten 10 wins.
He's also on my – no, they did not. He's also on my hot seat. Did you see the woman strength and conditioning coach give that speech?
I didn't watch the video, but I saw it.
I don't know if I could muster enough excitement to run through a wet paper bag after it was brutal.
Was it?
Yes. I don't know what the fuck's going on in Boulder, dude. I think I just don't know.
I don't either.
Iowa State is a complete dice roll. They returned 2.5% of their yards represented last year. That is 137th in the country.
Yeah, that's pretty insane. I saw that they added 82 new players, including 50 new players in the portal.
Yes.
Something that I did like, their defensive coordinator, who's obviously coming from Washington State, along with Jimmy Rogers, also coming from Washington State. Everyone on this team is coming from Washington State.
Correct.
He brought 12 players with him on defense. And for what it's worth, they allowed 13 points per game in their final 9 games of the season on defense, Washington State. So that's pretty good. And Iowa State is known for having, tough, gritty defenses. And who knows if that culture will carry over now that Matt Campbell is no longer there. But something that I clocked.
I think that's a great call out.
Yeah. In terms of the Big 12 and this conference, what are some of the top players to watch in your opinion?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about a lot of them already with Fafita, LJ Martin, Adam Trick, Bear Bachmeyer. The only two that we haven't highlighted is the tandem that moved from North Texas to Oklahoma State. I mean, we have Mestamaker coming in, hot off leading the country in every single passing stat you could think of. I mean, it's crazy that he was averaging a first down on every pass attempt like completed. 10
Yeah,
yards.
yeah,
And then Wyatt Young, 6 foot nothing, just little white scat receiver. Just ho hum, 1,260 yards with 10 touchdowns. I mean, the dude knows how to get open.
mm,
He's an unbelievable threat at any point in time to get behind that first and second layer. He's a zone destroyer. And just be interesting to see. It's the same situation like you just said about Washington State. Oklahoma State brings in like 80 plus new players. A lot of them coming from North Texas, had some success, but obviously it was a very one-sided program, very heavily focused on offense. So see what they can compete with on the defensive side. I think they could fight to get into a bowl this year. That's what my ceiling is for them. 7 wins would be a ceiling.
Well, when I was looking at the odds to win the conference, they actually, I was surprised to see them kind of like right in the middle of the pack, essentially.
Yeah.
Um, which like I said, it surprised me. Couple of other players that I would want to highlight. I know I already brought up Terrence Carter Jr., the tight end from Texas Tech. He's a projected All-American player. West Virginia, not a team that a lot of people are talking about in this conference. They got a running back, Cam Cook. He led the FBS in rushing last season with almost 1,700 yards at Jacksonville State. So I'm assuming him and Rich Rod have some familiarity with each other. As he comes to West Virginia, he was a big transfer portal get for the Mountaineers. And then, remember Dylan Edwards, the Kansas State running back?
Yes.
Well, he is now at Kansas, and I know it was a disappointing year for Edwards last season. He struggled with injuries. There was some weird stuff just with that whole team last year, honestly. But Dylan Edwards goes to the rival school, and he is now a Kansas Jayhawk. So I'm interested to see what type of season Dylan Edwards has over there. That's a player that I will be watching. And Cincinnati Bearcats. I just want to show them a little love. They returned 2 offensive line starters who earned all Big 12 honors last season, and Evan Tengsdale and Joe Cotton. So Cincinnati, not a lot of people are going to be talking about them, especially with Sorsby leaving the program, but seems like they got some really good offensive linemen over there.
Yeah, 100%. One thing to keep an eye out, the only team I think we didn't mention was Arizona State, right?
Mm-hmm.
We've got Mikey Keene there. They return All-American caliber defensive lineman, CJ Fight. When I look at Dillingham, I pulled this. Oh, here it is. Dillingham and ASU 10-3 against the spread after a straight up loss.
It's a good one to keep in the forefront.
Keep that one in mind.
Mikey Keene and Cutter Boley. Is that
Yeah.
the quarterback competition, I believe?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think Keene is pretty much wrapped up. I think it's Boley's to lose.
Okay. It's Boley's to lose.
Yes.
Interesting. Okay. One other team that we did not mention that we definitely need to mention, the Houston Cougars. Willie Fritz, it's his 3rd season with the program. No, you're not a Connor Wegman guy. With that said, 10-3 season last year. They also brought in running back Mekhi Hughes, if you remember him from Tulane and Oregon. Big time transfer portal addition. Houston's kind of going all in, man. Going all in with their facilities, going all in the NIL. I think they got some pretty big expectations down there to compete.
Yes, but once again, it's prove me wrong type situation with Connor Wegman.
What, man? You can't talk like this.
I didn't get got by that. Did you?
Yeah, for sure. He actually doesn't talk like that?
No.
Seriously?
Yeah, that was a voiceover for what's his name? That really southern wide receiver for the Panthers.
Oh, yeah. Leggett?
Yeah, yeah.
Dude, I'm pretty sure Wegman talks likes that.
Code switching.
All right, I'm gonna have to watch some interviews. Well, regardless, I feel like we covered this. I feel like we covered this conference pretty damn well. Anything else you wanna highlight in this one?
No, I just think for final predictions, I do think at the end of the day, it's fun to pick long shots, but I do think Texas Tech takes it down.
Mhm.
And I think the only way to beat them is Will Hammond performing poorly, and they just like get sniped on like a 17-10 game, or like because their defense will keep them in even if Hammond is playing like shit.
Exactly. I would agree with that. Definitely understand why they're the justified favorite here. Could see some other teams possibly sneaking one, but gun to my head, I'm going Texas Tech as well.
Let's see. And then just wrapping up here, I told you I'd have full prediction. There it is.
Oh yeah! Wow.
How about a five-way tie, four-way tie for second?
Yeah, this is impressive. Wow. So you are very very high on Kansas State and Central Florida. You're really sticking your neck out there, which I like. You know, why not have some boldness to your predictions?
Yep. There it is. And that reminds me of the one last note I have for this conference that is important to note. Let me see here. Pull up my notes to make sure I articulate this correctly. But you'll notice that some of those teams had 9 conference games and others had 8. Well, currently the Big 12 is in the process of moving to 9. So some teams will be playing, and same with the ACC, where they will play 9 games, and they're committing to 10 Power 4 games. So then other teams will play 8 until it's fully ramped up.
Interesting.
Yes.
All right. Well, good breakdown on the Big 12. Should be a very fun conference to follow. We are going to switch gears and we're going to talk about the ACC. Starting off in a similar format. Top 3 schools to win this conference, just like the Big 12. We have one overwhelmingly big favorite in Miami to win the conference is minus 140. That is a crazy price. And then you followed by SMU at plus 650 and then Louisville at plus 850. Initial thoughts here on these top 3?
None that I want to get a ticket on is what I would definitely say. But because obviously minus 140 for a season-long bet, where Mensa goes down week 2, it's like all of a sudden, I don't think this defense and overall team can go on without him to a minus 140 conference championship like that. Still think they would definitely compete 100%, but that would definitely level the playing field. So I'm very interested because this is the conference that has the most variability in schedules. I have SMU actually doing really well with how their schedule lines up for them, similar to a Utah situation. And then Kevin Jennings back. He's going to break the school record for all-time passing. That's going to be interesting. Louisville coming out of the gates as the one ranked matchup in week 1, and they're here in Nashville playing Ole Miss. So they're going to come out swinging. New quarterback, but a fully stacked team and incredible talent around Kleinholtz. So that's just a little bit of a question mark about a kind of newer team that has this much hype. But Brahm is an incredible coach. So of these favorites, I'm just hesitant to bet any of them, and I like down the board a little bit more.
I can't blame you for not wanting to lay minus 140. You or anybody else, like you said, that's just it's a hell of a price to win the conference, huh?
It really is. Especially
So,
a 19 team conference that's supposed to be your Power Four conference.
yeah. And I understand Miami, they lost, or excuse me, that they are returning a lot of really good talent defensively, as well as, of course, Malachi Tony, Mark Fletcher, Darian Mensah, quarterback, really good player. But we'll see with the losses of guys like Carson Beck, Ruben Bain, Hakeem Mesidor, and others. Sometimes just repeating success. It's never, well, actually, not sometimes. It's never a guarantee.
Yeah.
So we'll see. Do you agree though with SMU and Louisville being 2 and 3 in this conference?
Yeah, just because it's so weak at the bottom, it's just kind of really gets muddy very quickly. And as for coaching and teams, I would trust those two kind of a little higher than others. And I like seeing Clemson getting humbled a little bit here.
Yeah, I think they need it themselves. Like let's see how they respond when the spotlight is off for a change. That will be very interesting, and I'm sure we'll talk about them a little bit more. You have any other thoughts just on these top 3 teams before we move on?
I think Louisville's defense is going to surprise people a little bit more than what they're usually kind of pegged as, and so they will definitely compete. I'm not saying I don't want to bet them because I don't think they can win, but I just like some more value down the board.
Sure. What are your thoughts on their quarterback? He's an Ohio State transfer, right?
Yeah, Kleinholtz, yeah, former 5-star quarterback, just running out of eligibility and wasn't going to play. So I think all the talent's there. I just don't think he was Julian Sayin talent level or Tavian St. Clair talent level.
Yeah.
But I still think he could be a top 20 quarterback in the entire country.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, with Louisville, I would want to add, Jeff Brom, he's their head coach. First 3 seasons with the program, 10 wins, 9 wins, 9 wins, quietly under the radar, quietly producing results. They also have one of the best running back duos in the country in Isaac Brown and Keywan Brown.
Yep.
They combined for almost 1,600 yards at 8.1 yards per carry. No big deal. And I agree with you about their defense. Clev Lubin, 8.5 sacks in 2025. He will be a contributor in 26. As far as SMU goes, I don't really have much here, man. I mean, I think Kevin Jennings is an electric player, and I'm a fan. Now, he did throw for 13 interceptions last season, so obviously they need to cut back on that a bit. But this seems like a program that had quite a bit of turnover, and look, I know SMU spends money. I know that they invest a lot into the team, but I think there'll be some other teams that get them, personally.
Under Rhett Lashley, 21-4 at home, just straight up. So
it's good.
They are a formidable opponent at home, and they only go on the road 5 times. And the first game is a neutral site, Florida State. Is that right?
SMU. I don't know if it's neutral or at Florida State.
Florida State's the home team, so
right.
They're either home or at Florida State. That game is in Tallahassee.
Okay.
So they are on the road 5 times. So yeah. Some formidable opponents too. They're at Notre Dame, second to last game of the season. So
yeah, it's tough. Hopefully Jennings performs a little bit better in the cold this time around.
Yeah.
In terms of the other teams in this conference, because there is quite a bit, you wrote some fades. Some fades. Who are you fading this year?
Fades, just gotta stay off them until I'm happy to get on late. But Dabo, a lot of new names, a lot of new faces. It's got to be a prove it to me season. It could just be a situation where it's like, oh, could have got Clemson at 14-1. Clemson's all the way back. Just need a refresh, get past the Klubnik era, and boom, they're back. Could be because they're kind of dipping their toe a little bit in the transfer portal. But Clemson is more of a fade on the prove it to me side. And then other fade is Virginia Tech. 28-1. It's like, yeah, no shit, fade them. But they're just kind of on the upper end of the mid-range teams expected to win the ACC. So still kind of a competitive number that people will be looking at under Franklin with a serviceable schedule and a big recruit name at quarterback with Gunkenmeyer that he brought with him. And he's obviously brought some Penn State guys with him. And he had no trouble recruiting well. So these names that he's bringing aren't exactly just like these Akron style of players here. But I just don't think it's this year that it's going to be the time for us to pull the trigger on a long shot for Virginia Tech.
Yeah. Yeah, sure. I get that. First year at a new program. We'll see. Clemson, so intriguing. So you can get them to win the conference at 14-1. Is that right?
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of people are going to be betting that just because of the name and the brand. And I understand why. I mean, just feels like they were so good for so long, and even a part of me thinks that they're going to bounce back and put something together. 7-6 last year for Clemson. Their quarterback, he's spent the last 3 seasons backing up Klubnik over there. So
they also have a very favorable schedule, so I could be arguing against myself, but get Georgia Tech, South Carolina, and Miami and Virginia Tech at home.
Huh.
Kick off the season with who knows. It's always a dice roll with some of these big school Power 4. So they're at LSU, but I think that one's neutral site, right?
No.
That one is at LSU.
Yeah.
What happened to the neutral site week 1 games?
I don't know, but I remember last year when they played each other, the game was at Clemson, and LSU won that really ugly, ugly game.
Yeah, that's right. So first game in the Kiffin era, a ton of transfers there. So who knows? Anything could happen, as we saw with Florida State and Bama last year. So I don't know. I could be arguing against myself, but I'm going to stay away from Clemson. You can go ahead and bite on them.
Yeah, I was just saying with Christopher Vizina. Is that how you pronounce it? Yeah, Vizina. It's just you don't see that. You don't see a guy who spends 3 years at a program as the backup, and now he finally gets his chance to play. That's like some 1992 shit right there. So I mean, I know obviously Dabo, he's all about the culture and retaining guys. Very like Shaka Smart-esque in that way. We'll see if it pays off this year. Looks like the receivers TJ Moore and Bryant Wesco return. Those are some names we know, as well as Gideon Davidson or Gideon, good player, and then Sammy Brown at linebacker.
Yeah.
106 tackles, 13 and a half tackles for a loss, 5 sacks, 6 quarterback hurries, and 5 pass breakups. That sounds like a first round pick in the NFL draft.
It probably is. Yes,
probably is. Why don't you tell us about some of your sleepers in this conference?
Yeah, we've already highlighted them coming into on our previous shows, but at the same number, 19-1, you can get Pitt or NC State. Either one, you pick your poison. Pitt Panthers and Mason Heinschel, I just couldn't be more high on. They landed 2 incredible talents in the transfer portal out of Western Carolina that both have over 1,000 yards receiving last year. So just add to the repertoire that extremely talented true freshmen will have. And then they return a great amount of defensive production. They returned 16 total players on this team. So Pitt, when it comes to their schedule, they get Miami of Ohio at home to kick off. But they do have to go to Miami. But outside of that, at Blacksburg, at Boston College, their toughest challenge, I think, is going to be to end the season when they go at Louisville, at Cal. That's just brutal back to back road games, having to go road and then travel out to Berkeley. So, not saying this was a team that's going to challenge to go undefeated, but I could definitely see this team in the 10-win category competing for an ACC championship.
Yeah, I mean, I think a lot of it depends on their defense. Like you mentioned, they got some returning talent there, 5 starters back on defense, and obviously Mason Heinschel and Jake Curie and Turner. They were both freshmen last year, quarterback running back duo. They're going to have a lot on their plate this year as sophomores. And they have a new defensive coordinator. So that's kind of a big question mark.
Yep. NC State rolling out TJ Bailey, credible talent. If we're just going on quarterbacks alone in the ACC, this is a guy you'd want to back. It's third year under center with Duke Scott. And then they land a name that familiar with my Mac Messiah following, Victor Snow, coming in from Buffalo. Just a great talent there. Wasn't getting enough, good quarterback play to get the ball last season. So that's going to be a big upgrade at that position. And they have a favorable schedule, in my opinion. And like they get teams like Louisville, like they avoid Miami and they avoid Clemson. Their toughest game will be at Florida State. And they come here at Vanderbilt. But that's yeah. They have a weird start to their schedule where they're at Virginia, bye, home to Richmond, at Vanderbilt. So for the first full month and change of their season, they're home one time.
Timeout. Did you know that this game to open the season against Virginia is in Brazil?
No. What? No way.
Breaking news.
Are we sure that's not the basketball?
We get a Dublin game followed by a Brazil game? What?
This week zero. No. Oh. Nope. Was originally. Looks like I'm correcting you. Relocated to Charlottesville.
Oh, cut that.
Was originally slated for Brazil and has been relocated to Charlottesville.
Okay.
That would have been insane.
Yeah, I mean, that was the plan.
I missed that completely. I remember Michigan trying to get Western in Germany. That got canceled too.
Wow.
Let's just fucking keep it. This is college football, not the NFL. We're not trying to add the big once to the FBS. That's 11, I believe.
You're right. Yeah.
The Big 11. So
I agree. Just
so NC State. And then last one. This one's just, we're being silly here. Got to be a little silly in a 19-team league, right?
Yep.
Got to go deep, way back. How about 76-1 to win the conference? Wake Forest, my guy, Ben Harper, maybe since the inception of Wagers on Campus, Gio Lopez is under the helm at Wake Forest.
Wow.
Yep. Jake Dickert, how about 9-4 first season at Wake? Just absolutely zero expectations. Comes out with 9 wins on the season.
Seriously.
Like he's going to be in a position where he returns a good amount of. He returns 9 players on defense. You add Gio Lopez. You reload a different positions that you needed to upgrade with at offense. Just if they can stop teams and keep it close, then they're going to be able to pull off some upsets.
Yeah, 9-4 last season, 4-4 in the ACC. They had wins over teams like SMU, Virginia. They beat Mississippi State in their bowl game. So
Dickert Dickert would be a Wake Forest fraternity boy's best friend because in his opening season they were a home dog 9 times, 7-2 against the spread.
yeah,
That's
he made
just
some.
bet
He made some of those boys some big time beer money.
just betting on my favorite team. They cover every time. I don't know what happens, but
Right.
that's something you look for.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Wake, just throw in Wake for a little fun. Couple shekels. Throw $3 on it. Get you 200 and some. Have a nice dinner.
Speaking of a couple shekels, how many shekels are we throwing on North Carolina this year?
Yep, just had that stat page pulled up. I really wanted this to be my other sleeper, 150 to 1, right? I think somewhere around there.
Okay.
But dude, I just, no matter what, for Bill's sake, he came in with the top 20 recruiting class this year, landed some solid transfers to pick up, kind of the slack. But I can't get over Billy Edwards at quarterback. He is terrible. I don't know what Bill saw in him to bring him in. I saw enough of him last year. I just don't see any growth potential to be a competitive player. And maybe, they land a decent prospect at quarterback, maybe true freshman gets reps. So it'll be interesting to follow. I'll be watching some North Carolina games for sure because their defense last year did kind of hover in that 24 points per game range in the last 8 games. So they were putting together, like, at the college level. That's very good. So this is a very interesting team. I'm glad you brought them up.
Definitely. I mean, they were much improved in the back half of the season. Not really offensively, but like you mentioned, defensively, they got some wins. And I liked what I heard from Belichick on. It was actually part of my take a couple of months ago. He was just talking about the state of the program and basically said it's night and day, 180-degree difference from this time last year to where it is now. And this is a very obvious take, but a guy like Belichick, you got to think that he has an enormous amount of pride and is very embarrassed about how it went last season. 4-8, expectations were high, the hype was high, and it didn't work. So you might point to him and say that he's washed, he's too old, he doesn't have it anymore. I don't subscribe to that. I think North Carolina has a nice bounce back season. I'm not saying that they're going to win the conference, but I do think that they'll be above 500 in the ACC and certainly will make a bowl and be a pretty respectable team. Wouldn't surprise me if they finish in the top 25 this year.
100%. And then the other big program in this conference, got to talk about in Florida State. This also kind of was a team that I dove in a little deeper on, and I just can't get behind it. They have a 5-game schedule or 5-game stretch that is really going to show what this program under Mike Norvell is made out of, starting with at Alabama. Oh, I'm sorry. Central Arkansas squeezed in there. But at Alabama, throw in the cupcake. Virginia, at Louisville, at Miami, home to Clemson. So 5 of this 6-game stretch is the entire season, really.
Mm-hmm.
And with Ashton Daniels, we've seen him at a couple different locations. You have to wonder about some of these guys that aren't necessarily poached per se, like your Mensa, who's been to 3 different schools, or like other players who have bounced around but keep kind of elevating to higher schools and higher paydays. Have to wonder just if they're just a placeholder for maybe a larger recruit to free up. I don't know. I don't know if Florida State has more than bowl eligibility this year.
I definitely think They'll be better this year than they were last year. 5-7, 2-6 in the ACC. Ashton Daniels, I'm not sure how much I'm a believer in him. How about you? You like Daniels?
That's what I was just saying. It's like I'm not bought in on him. That's why I couldn't add them to the sleeper side or any sort of future. That's my biggest question mark, and that's the position that can turn around a program at this level.
100%. I mean, I would want to add with them 4 out of their 6 conference losses last season were one-score games. They did return a lot of offensive talent, highlighted by Deuce Robinson, with other guys as well. They brought in Texas running back Trey Wisner. If you remember Trey Wisner, he's now with Florida State. They have a couple of twins on the defensive line, Mandrell and Daryl Desir. Return on the DL. They were able to keep some other defensive pieces as well. A player to watch on Florida State's defense, the linebacker Chris Jones. He's a transfer guy from Southern Miss. Listen to this stat line: 134 tackles, 9.5 tackles for a loss, 3.5 sacks, 1 forced fumble, 1 interception, 2 pass breakups. Yeah, that'll play. Florida State, man. I mean, obviously the expectations are always sky high around this program every year. They've certainly had success under Mike Norvell. He's going into his 7th season, career record at the program, 38-34. I mean, similar to some other guys, it's like the seat feels like it couldn't be hotter. It's another big season with big expectations. We'll see how they respond. Yeah, we've covered a lot of the squads here. Any players that you want to highlight that we haven't yet talked about?
Yeah, I mean, talked about the Miami 4 that we can. Deuce Robinson on Florida State is a guy that you hope to see a lot more production out of. Had such a good start to his career, so hopefully Ashton Daniels can get him the ball. We talked about Isaac Brown and Mason Heinchel, some of the bigger players. The only other one that we didn't talk about is a guy you've highlighted quite a bit and potential long shot candidate is JKS Sagapatelli out of Cal. And just any closing thoughts on Cal before we wrap it up?
Yeah, I got a couple of things I still want to go over real quick, but in terms of Cal, yeah, JKS, people are excited about him. You know, they have a new offensive coordinator, Jordan Somerville. He spent the last 3 seasons as the assistant quarterbacks coach with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, so obviously working with Baker. So that'll be interesting to see.
Touchdown, Tampa Bay.
That'll be interesting to see what he brings over. Cal, outside of a new head coach as well, who actually was the defensive coordinator over at Oregon, Tosh Lapoy.
Yep.
They also brought in a new defensive coordinator to the program who spent the last couple of seasons with the Minnesota Vikings. So offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, head coach, all new in this program. Sounds like they have a brand new defense in 2026. That's just the way of college football today. But yeah, Cal, very interesting team. Couple other teams that I want to make sure that we, highlight and just give them a little coverage at least. Georgia Tech, Brent Key, 5th season at the program, won 9 games last season. Obviously, Haynes King, Jamal Haynes, Keelan Rutledge, they all depart from the program. And who do they bring in, Burns? Alberto Mendoza, the brother of Fernando Mendoza, quarterback from Indiana. Very interested to see what he will bring to the program. And then your favorite player, Justice Haynes, Michigan running back, transfers into the program as well. But Georgia Tech, in all seriousness, they deserve respect. Key has had, some success over there for sure, to say the least. Any thoughts on Georgia Tech this year?
I know that's your guy. Incredible coach. So, with the ton of turnover, bringing in Justice Haynes, I feel like they've had the whole Haynes family, or there's just always a Haynes on Georgia Tech's team at some point.
Yeah.
So that again, it feels like the just the theme of the ACC is question marks. It's just there's been so much turnover in so many different areas, whether it be seniors or the transfer portal. It feels like the ACC has been affected the most And so this is one where you have to trust the coaching and trust the system of just how they play. Very comparable to Vanderbilt under Clark Lee.
Yeah.
Just like are gonna have lesser talent, but are gonna probably outwork everyone in the country. So I wouldn't be surprised if this Georgia Tech team has 8 or 9 wins again this year with guys that we're very unfamiliar with.
Yeah, I think that's a very fair take. As far as Duke goes, obviously they lose Darian Mensah. Manny Diaz, his third season with the program. They got a good running back, Nate Shepard, 1,100 yards, 11 touchdowns. And they looks like it's going to be Walker Eggett at quarterback from San Jose State.
Yep.
Duke, veteran offensive line. I know they're bringing back multiple starters there.
Defending ACC champs, put some respect on their name.
Well, exactly. This is a team that's had some low-key success even back to the days a few years ago with the A&M coach slipped in my mind. The head coach.
Elko.
Yeah, Elko. So Duke has quietly been a competitive team. And obviously I think they'll take a step back. I don't think they were expecting to lose Darian Mensah. I think that came as a surprise to them, believe it or not. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see.
88-1 to repeat as the conference champ.
Okay, I think that's fair. I need to ask you, unless you got to run. Do you need to run real quick?
No.
Do you have any thoughts on this Virginia Cavaliers team? I mean, quarterback Bo Pribula, of course, but just anything that you wanted to mention about Virginia?
This is a team I'm just less familiar with. Tony Elliott, just an incredible inaugural season there, 11-3. Landing Pribula was big. Sitting right there behind NC State and Pitt at 20-1. So on the higher end, they're sixth favorite to win this conference. So I don't know. This Cavaliers team is returning 15 players. Like they have bones from an 11-win team.
Right.
You have to be able to expect them to make some noise and getting completely disrespected in any sort of coverage. So they just are on a tough away schedule with at Florida State, at SMU, at Virginia Tech, and then a neutral site game with West Virginia. So
they avoid Miami, they avoid Louisville, they avoid Clemson.
They do. This is a very favorable schedule, but high on NC State. Yeah, this is one of those teams. They could be fighting for a bowl, or they could be legitimately competing for the ACC with all those teams they avoid up top.
Yep. Last year, they were second nationally in third down defense, and they were third in 3-and-out rate. And they were able to return quite a bit of their defense from a year ago. So,
yeah,
I think there's a reason why they're 5.5-point favorites against NC State to open up the season.
That's fair. But I love me some of that plus 180 to kick off my season.
I know you do, and I like CJ Bailey as well. I have fond memories of him playing Georgia Tech. You remember that game?
Yeah.
Any closing thoughts on some of the lower expectation teams in this conference? For example, Boston College, Stanford, Syracuse. Yeah.
Good luck. See you next year. I mean, nothing much to say. Oh, man. Bill O'Brien, you think there could be some magic up there, but I don't know. 19 teams, someone's got to be terrible, right?
Yep. Bill O'Brien, he's calling the plays. 2-10 last year. They signed 27 transfers. They saw 30 departures. It looks like their quarterback is Mason McKenzie, a Saginaw Valley State transfer. And Evan Dickens at running back. Last year at Liberty, 17 touchdowns, almost 1,400 yards. So little Boston College coverage there. And as far as Stanford goes, brand new coach, Tavita Pritchard. I think Davis Warren, the former Michigan quarterback, is going to be their starter.
Yeah. I did see that.
Yes, this is a program that has failed to win at least 5 games in 7 straight seasons. Oh, how the mighty have fallen, because Stanford was a really good team for a long time. Um, so we'll see if Andrew Luck and company can build them back over time.
I do have them getting revenge over our Rainbow Warriors week 1 at Stanford.
6.5 point favorites.
Yeah.
Um, and Syracuse, want to make sure I mention him. Fran Brown, great season in 2024. Last year was not so good at 3-9. Quarterback Steve Angeli, if you remember him, he returns, but get this, Syracuse loses their top 2 running backs and their top 7 pass catchers. So it'll be a brand new team up there.
Yep. Good for him. Hopefully he comes back strong, because that was a brutal injury to start the season.
Yep. Yeah, what else you got here?
Well, I've got the ACC prediction here.
Okay, here we go. Yeah, more chaos.
I've got Southern Methodist, SMU, and North Carolina State, with Pitt, Clemson also at 1 loss in the conference. Not sure how they're going to figure that one out. Then Louisville, Miami, and then a huge drop off.
Yeah. Nice. Sweet.
Circle that one.
Yeah, no kidding.
Like I said, SMU's schedule is just so favorable to them, and with how good they are at home. Like, Notre Dame isn't even in the conference, so who cares? And they're, at Syracuse, at Stanford. So I believe in the Mustangs.
Yeah. All right. Well, Big 12 ACC covered thoroughly. Hopefully that was helpful. If you're still listening, thank you very, very much. And hello.
Almost home. I've got a couple additions here for you. I know we have our 6 wins parlay coming up. Excuse me, ma'am. Someone else trying to contribute here. I got my 6 wins. A couple teams that I already have picked out. Not all 6. And I didn't expect you to come with any today, but they are connected to the 2 conferences we just spoke about.
Yeah.
UCF minus 140 to get 6 wins.
That's where it starts, folks.
Come on. 6 wins we're talking about here. I'm not saying they're going to hit my 10-win plateau I had them at.
Scott Frost, dude.
Great coach at UCF. By the way, them to win 10-plus games is 30-1. That's huge. Baylor, minus 135 to win 6. And then
worse.
And then a little bit bigger for you. NC State, minus 380 to win 6.
Okay, I like that.
So not fully locked in. These are 3 that I was assuming I could lock in, but maybe I will be vetoed on. Maybe that's what we do to bring some entertainment to it, is we each get 1 veto of another person's pick.
Ooh.
And they'll each start off 6-0, right?
Oh, for sure.
Yep. So just wanted to note that and get your popcorn ready for the 6 wins parlay release next week.
Yep.
And then, as always, we kind of do a fun little draft. So for the Big 12 and ACC, let's just pick 4 teams from each conference that we like, and to produce the most amount of wins.
Yeah, kick us off. You kick us off.
Okay, sounds good. I'm actually going to swerve and not take the favorite. I'm going to take Utah with that schedule. So I'll take Utah first.
Yeah, I'll take Texas Tech.
Smart.
Smart. Well said. And Miami.
Texas Tech and Miami. Geez, you sure about that? I will take SMU, like I said, again, schedule. And then I'll take BYU.
All right. Give me Louisville.
Louisville.
And give me Houston.
Oh, Houston, Atlanta, Vegas. Okay. I will take my guys, the Wildcats at Kansas State. Another Big 12. So that's 3. I have one more Big 12, and I have 3 more ACC. And then for another ACC school, I mean, I got to ride with them. I can't let you take them. Give me Pitt.
Yeah. No doubt. So I got 2 Big 12s. Do I need 4 from each?
Yeah, 4 from each.
4 from each for each one of us.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh boy. Okay. In the Big 12, you already picked Utah, right?
Yes.
All right. So let's go with Arizona State, please.
Yikes.
Wasn't expecting that.
Oh, what are you going to follow up with that one?
Clemson.
Oh, man. Yeesh. All right. Got another ACC in here. Give me Virginia. I like that schedule now that we went over it.
Up.
And let's see. Do I want Big 12 or do I want ACC? Give me. Oh. Big 12. Get short quickly. Give me. Oh, boy. Give me UCF, baby. I believe in them.
Do you?
Thank you. I appreciate that, guys.
Have we picked Florida State yet?
No.
All right, give me Florida State.
Okay. So you have 4 ACC and you need one more Big 12.
Yeah, for sure. Iowa State.
Iowa State. We're playing to get the most amount of wins combined. Just wanted to make sure you knew.
Chris Paul laughing gif.
Yeah. Give me NC State. So there it is. We've got Oh, I've still got a scrolling thing going. I've got the graphic ready to go. Four, maybe. Jesus Christ. Just getting the hang of this producer thing.
You're good, man.
So Mayer takes Texas Tech, Miami, Louisville, Houston, Arizona State, Clemson, Florida State, Iowa State. And I take Utah, SMU, BYU, Kansas State, Pitt, Virginia, UCF, and NC State is our favorite teams to watch to get us the most wins this season in these two conferences. What a successful coverage of these two Power Four conferences. And coming up next is everyone's favorite, the big dogs on campus. Big Ten, SEC, Friday morning. Can't wait.
Yep, can't wait Thank you, Xander. And thank you, listeners. This was fun, and we'll see you soon.
Yeah. Can't wait. Love you.